So, hey, what's up? So, episode 3 of Conan O'Brien must go. And this time, the first episode was Europe, the second episode was Asia, and this time is South America. And in this particular country, he has the same problem that he had in Thailand, which is the language barrier, but this time is a bit more popular, and there are more people who actually kind of know him. They're familiar with the character of Conan O'Brien. But there's one thing that stood out in this particular episode that stuck in my mind and has been permanently imprinted in the back of my mind for the rest of my living days, and it's one of the best thing ever. We'll talk about that. But first of all, dip his hands deep into the Mexican culture. He goes to have a bit of beef with a former friend of his. I think he's called Jordan. So they sit down and start having a conversation about how to pronounce tango. They have a long conversation about everything, but the basic meat of that conversation, as they were taking beef, pun intended, was how to pronounce tango. Now, one is tango, and the other one is tango. And so that runs across the episode as a running gag. And Conan keeps asking people what they think about how tango is supposed to be pronounced. So I thought that was pretty cool. The fact that they kept calling back to that everywhere they went. So I thought that was pretty interesting. The other thing is that learning about the culture in Mexico, and again, like all the other episodes, this was more of Conan must go and meet his fans, because he met some of his fans. I think the first one he met this guy who had like 2 kids, and they go on the roof, and the one standard for this episode was the small things, like when they're on the roof. There is a guy who's walking down and he just looks at them and the camera focuses on him, and then he awkwardly walks away. So those small things were kind of interesting. Then the kids were pretty interesting, and then we discovered that the dad is an artist. And so at the beginning of the episode he goes like, I can paint you a mural. And I thought that would be impossible, because obviously the countries have their law. But at the end of the show they actually did a mural where you have Messi, you have Conan, and you have the Pope. But now Conan, the mural had a problem whereby his neck was a bit too big. So you can't actually tell it's Conan unless you look closely, or you stand at a distance, you can't actually tell it's Conan. But when you come closer, the neck is kind of fat. And so you have Messi, Conan, and the Pope. Then apart from that, we learned more about the culture in terms of how Argentinians just kiss everyone. And they kiss when they are standing up, they kiss when they're leaving, they kiss when they're coming in. Then just learning how people interact, because it's more social than the rest of the world. And so Conan had to do what Conan does best, which is like when he was leaving the hotel, he like went around kissing everyone. I thought that was pretty crazy. And then he obviously had to become a cowboy. I think it's called a guacho mucho. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. So he goes, and this is where now we go into the language barrier section, whereby he goes and meets these cowboys who don't understand English, so they need a translator. Jordan obviously shows up, and so you have a lot of awkward moments with him singing. For example, they're sitting outside. It's in the afternoon. That setting is supposed to happen at night, but they have to do it in the afternoon because he has to go back to his hotel, which has a nice jacuzzi. I thought that was funny. And so they're sitting there. This guy is playing the guitar. Conan is singing. And then there's this one dude who just kept looking at Conan all through. He was not just talking. He was just standing there just looking at Conan. Like he was this, the way you look at an imbecile or an idiot. You just stand there and look at them and like, what? How does this human being exist as much as he talks? I thought that was pretty cool. Now, the thing about him being a cowboy, again, the smaller things, like him trying to rope in the cows, all he did was just throw the ropes. Throw the ropes on the field. So I thought that was pretty dumb. And then and then generally, that look of the cowboy with the mustache just kept, and I'm just going to say it, I'm not pro-Nazi or anything. He just reminded me of a Nazi. Remember after the Second World War, what people said about the Nazis and Argentina. Most of them moved to Argentina. So every time I was looking at him, he had that European look with a mustache. So I just kept thinking of a Nazi in Argentina. Anyway, that's just me. Now, the best part about this episode, one of those things that I saw it coming and I thought it was not going to work because they were not going to do. I didn't think that they were going to hack it, but they somehow hacked it. Was when he went to a tango school, and it's owned by an old dude and a beautiful woman. And he talked about something that I think we all think about when we watch people dance the tango, because it's so hard to dance that dance without falling in love with the person that you're dancing with, because it's a very intimate dance. You know, legs are crossing each other. You know, there's a lot of it's a very sexual dance. Let's just be honest. And I like the fact that Conan actually just confidently just talked about that. How can I dance with? And she's a very beautiful woman. He's like, how can I dance with you without falling in love with you and wanting to marry you? So I thought that was pretty cool, because it's what we actually think about when we think about tango. And again, call back to Jordan and then having a conversation with how to pronounce tango. So that obviously popped up. Now, the thing that I absolutely love is when now they switched into that cinematic mode, when it becomes a tango character. And there's this beautiful shot, I think it's in the school or it's a warehouse, where you have this wide shot and then a spotlight, and then Conan is just standing there confidently with those Mexican outfits and a red trouser, and it's decorated like a Mexican, wherever he has the mustache, his hair has been made up, and he's just standing there. And for once, that looked like a scene from an epic Mexican or Argentinian soap. You know them. That was a very, very beautiful shot. And through the dances, it was awkward, but if that was done properly, that would have been an epic dance. But the cinematography for that particular scene was fantastic. It actually just caught me off guard, because you get that cinematic, you know, you have black, then you have the yellow light, spotlight, and then you can see the character, and then you zoom in, you find that it's Conan, who looks like, yes, he's self-aware, but he looks like he's so into the character that he forgot himself. He disappeared into that character of, you know, a tango dancer, and they go through the dance awkwardly, you know, the way they just make fun of it. I thought that was the best part of this. Actually, the best part of this show, apart from the Thailand performance and the Norwegian, you know, like a barbarian, I thought those three, well, this one, that dance, when you get that look, that should be an iconic look. I think you should just take that photo and frame it, because it looked so good. It looked like, have you ever seen one of those Mexican or romantic novels? You know, the covers, you know, those characters, how they look. Most of them are bare-chested, but this time he had his clothes on, but he looked like that frame looked like he just leaped from from those books. So I thought that was pretty cool. But generally, he obviously went to a football field, as you would expect, because Argentina is a very football-oriented film, and I believe most Americans will not get it. But it's again, the smaller things, the football people don't actually speak good English, and the one thing that stood out for me is that Conan was too tall for that particular environment, because all the other guys are kind of short. So those are the small things that I was just noting that made everything more funnier. Like him being tackled, you see this giant being brought down by this small person. So I thought that was funny. So this, if I was to give it out of 5, I would give this a 4. A 4.2 out of 5. Just for that tango dance. That shot, that was a very, very beautiful shot. And if Conan actually gets to see this, I would urge him to just make maybe a short movie based on that particular shot. They can just find a way of just making that movie, because it was pretty awesome. So I'll give it a 4.2. So basically that's it. If you've seen my review of the first and second episode, if you've not seen my review for the first and second episode, you can check them out here. This is like a playlist. And basically that's it. Remember to always watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch. I will see you on the next one. I'm on arc to 100k. I don't know if we'll still be in this particular environment. I don't know what kind of transformation YouTubers usually go through as they grow and become bigger. But I can't wait to see what I will be and what you will be. Will I have transformed? Will I be reading ads? Will I be trying to make you buy stuff that you're not truly interested in? Anyway, thanks for watching this. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.